After the EU conference in 2016 in Phoenix, we went on the Michael Steinbacher Memorial Tour. We went out with Andreas Oak, Julian West, Cameron Frisbee, and other good people, and we got the chance to see the world the way he saw it. In 2017, we wanted to continue that sort of tradition, so I went out on a tour with Andy Hall, Andrew Fitz, Peter Mungo Jupp, and others, and we got to see all the great spots. West Forks and Sedona, Red Mountain, Walnut Canyon, the Grand Canyon, and so on. It was incredibly beautiful, but it was too short. So then we organized this.
There we go. You can sort of hold it like that so that you can see me. But really, we're going on our geology tour. I just figured I'd spread the love, let you see what we're doing as we begin to get going on our little trip across the United States.
Do you need that lapel, Mike?
Oh, not for this. No. I'm just taking some pictures that just basically kind of, you know, sets the stage about what's going on.
You're recording a video.
I am. Yeah. But it doesn't look like we're going to be able to put sound to it. This will just be covered over, more than likely.
Larry and I started out in California. We were invited to meet a pair of rock hunters, the Hawthornes, we met at EU 2017, their friend Wesley and Bruce Leybourne, a geologist from Colorado. We needed to get to Moab, Utah, where we were going to go out and explore the San Rafael Swell and see all those chevrons along the mountainside that were actually huge buttresses that Andy Hall thinks were made by resonating shockwaves from a lateral electric blast that carved all of Utah. The first night there was all talk.
And the other ones are just eroded out or
little mini geos.
Whatever they did. I don't think they're caused by drops of water.
Yeah, I just found that laying in the yard.
This is the Art Blast country, man. See, y'all didn't know what y'all were getting into when y'all started grabbing these rocks.
Nope.
There's some sort of.
So he picks up a
it's like reminds me of the sulfur that hit in certain other areas, which had was still flaming.
Right. And he says,
after it hit, and it wouldn't allow anything to gather around it.
To do an experiment, take it to the lab. But you're not allowed to take anything on that board, not even a piece of pebble on the ground. Sure. And he and his wife turn around, they go, but we don't know what happened to those two. I had 6.
So you got a couple.
6
altogether.
And then as we're standing there looking at these in the basin, up comes Wesley.
Holy moly.
He has a whole pile in his arms.
There's that crystal face I was just telling you about.
A spearhead. A napped out Indian spearhead. He got that whole, he has a whole bunch. And Dr. Shoemaker says, where'd you get those? And he says,
we're just a pile of everything the same here.
And they're looking at them and they say, they go find them. There's about 200 of them in there. And they say, this is the mother lode. Don't come back here and take these. And I looked at him and I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'm not interested in these. Ain't even pretty. I want to sell rocks that are pretty. However, you might come back and find nothing but rake marks. And he says, no. So anyways, I got to meet the Shoemakers. Did you know it was Carolyn Shoemaker that found the comet first?
No.
Yes, it was Dr. Carolyn Shoemaker. She fought it, saw the little line that indicated a movement, and she calls over Gene and David Levy.
Yeah.
And they see it, they get the credit. Then when it landed this way. And this was a rock it landed on, here and here. And they just, these are still there, but this is inside of it. It was so hot that this leaked through into the center. That's this stuff here is in there. And it just eroded this away, whatever that piece of rock, that's it. But it got baked, like dry rotted or whatever I call it. But I think that's a country rock, and this is what fell upon it.
I'll bore into that. I was going to say, this is what I'm into. Look at this thing.
Yeah, That's what caught
Oh,
my eye
wow.
immediately. Jacob's ladder type thing.
Yeah, several of them.
Those look like the tops of mountains or something, or river systems here. That's some etching, some veer etching right there. Look at that. Right across, it doesn't matter where the river went. That's where those went. So this had nothing to do with water, so that's a good sign. This has nothing to do with water, clearly. It's way too jagged. The water fell into it, obviously, later. I don't know what that is, but this is some scabland melting. This used to be a plateau or something, and this whole etching happened here. Layer and then layer and then layer.
You can just see it melting.
Almost. It's almost like yeah. You start looking at it like that, and you're saying
This must be upheaval dome, eh?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it melted like the Wizard of
The
Oz
other
said.
thing
I'm
about it is
melting.
This is mostly the colors. That's mostly the colors of this area down here. Maybe highlighted some, but that's the actual photograph.
That's the Landsat.
Yeah. Where the lines are straight laid out. Well, what they have found out is if you have a sleuth of gravel of different sizes, and it's all different sizes, and you have it running down a sleuth in water, and you let it run on level, it will lay out sediment layers that match exactly the sediment layers all over. Like where the Wingate is that real heavy section. They always wondered out how, when they laid the sediment layers, it's always the heavy big rocks you would think are going to be at the bottom and come up. But the big fat rocks are in the middle. Then there's a little thin line of silt. Then there's another layer of different size pebbles, a layer of silt, then a different size layer of pebbles. And they go from, but the big ones are in the center, then small, then bigger. Then they wonder, how does that layer do? So the geology was, oh, this was real bad time when it was compressed and it took longer to get it that high, and then that, and then this here and that is bullshit. They have found out that when you lay out this gravel flow, it does, you can cut down through it like at St. Helens. That's how they found this out. That came down in, like they say, saws, tore out in 2 weeks, a whole miniature
Yes.
thing. And so the sediment layers, when that laid down, they looked it up, and here's the fat rocks in the middle. Here's it just the same as all over the earth. It's really amazing that the thing you got around your neck almost is like, that's
Because they were made of the same process.
yeah, well, that's anybody could see that on the Greyhound bus, you know,
And
they
then
go
you
by
can-
real
You
fast.
can have another process come in later and modify it.
Yes, clearly.
Glaciers, whatever, you know.
Well, I can't deny glaciers didn't exist. That's not what I'm saying, obviously, since I live in
So
Canada.
you gotta know these processes.
Once we got going in the morning, the first spot we went to was Wilson's Arch. It's a natural sandstone arch just off Route 191, south of Moab, and what we were looking for was evidence of electrical effects or blasting effects on the rocks themselves.
You can see the marks right there. Look at the striations. The wonderful ripping.
Yeah, just like in Zion.
Yes. Now I gotta catch up to them.
Those veins. Those veins, kind of like in that rock I saved that time.
We tested that one time, and it's not calcite.
Not?
It was silicon. What do you think?
I just was curious
where the
why they're
current-
up
So obviously the current
eroded.
Well, it's probably in a sandstone.
Yeah.
So silica-rich solution. We got vitrified instantly. Is that a good term?
That's a good term. Vitrified instantly. I like that.
Turn to glass. That's what vitrified means.
Well, you got some bifurcation here, so clearly this is the pathway. Because, I mean, you don't get that separation otherwise.
But is it coming out towards you? Or
Well, I just meant if you
that
take a look,
way, or-
you see how it's like a ridge, right? But you can see how there's two of them here. Seem to indicate a current is flowing that way because you have to have two to go around each other. Like over here. Here's a
Good
bigger one.
slow process.
Watch the yucca.
stuff?
No, that stuff you just walk by. Those things are like daggers in your foot if you step in.
That stuff?
No, the ball-shaped stuff, spikes.
Those things?
Yeah. They're like daggers. They do not yield at all.
So you think that you're safe, but in actuality, you're pierced. Okay, yeah. We saw this right here, this exact same thing at West Forks in Sedona. Going around a corner, this is just pounding, like something was hitting this with supersonic.
Something. It doesn't look like water.
Oh, no, it was probably shockwaves, air. Well, superheated air mixed with plasma, but, you know, air. We'll call it air.
At the top of the arch, we theorized our best. We ended up going back and forth debating what caused this amazing landscape around us. After that, we ended up going to a shop that sold petrified wood and things. And we ended up finding something pretty amazing.
Oh, that one is $3,000.
Doesn't do that.
Nice tree.
Even hit a circle in it.
Utah table.
Dino bone with cell.
Hey.
They have in here a fossilized human bone. It's called the Malachite Man. It's a human bone.
All right.
I told her about petrifying wood can happen in electrical like that.
Well,
She said, I believe that. So she's not object to having this. It's over here.
let's take a peek. That's a small bone.
1971. But if it is a human bone, it's made out of malachite.
It looks like a giant's bone to me.
Well, what part of a giant would that be?
I don't know, his toe?
No. Although, admittedly, though,
That's awful
it's
big.
clearly rock, and it's clearly a human bone, or at least apparently some primate. I mean, if that's actual stone, that's amazing.
I thought you might like that.
Well, holy God, look at this thing. Price to sell only $4,000.
Only?
Yeah, I know. It's, you can turn that into a necklace or something. So that's a femur.
Completely preserved. Oh, look at that creature.
Well, that's the whole problem with these things being too awesome.
Yeah.
They weren't crushed and then laid down over 100 years and then turned to rock that way. I mean, look at, they were just
They were made
there and then
instantly.
frozen. Whatever that material is came in and froze them in solid.
Solidified them.
And sometimes it got ripped apart, like that jaw or bones.
Brontosaurus.
Sometimes the skin got ripped off beforehand. And the saber-toothed tiger is pretty cool. So.
They are.
That's crazy. Do you see this? This is not iron filings. This is actually fibrous magnetite that's coming off of this lodestone. Don't swing. Then why is it hanging here if you don't want me to swing it?
After exploring this scorpion-laden area, which this magic obsession stone was originally found, the Hawthorns promised to show me some of the amazing properties of the stone later. We got to go to Upheaval Dome in Canyonlands National Park. This beautiful area stuns the senses. After a short walk, we got right up near the rim of the dome, where you can see the remnants of this event firsthand. Often thought of as an eroded impact site to people who study conventional geology, in the electric universe model, the site is the indication of a powerful excavation, one that has metamorphosized the center rocks into completely new materials. You can see the V-shaped trenches along the edge with their high-cut walls that are bent up and outwards, as if some great force plucked the ground right out of the middle. The arms that connected to the canyon area, you can see some of Andy Hall's characteristic supersonic blast damage. The center is not just one type of material either, but it's made up of several, and they go roughly in concentric rings towards the middle. This seems to be aligned with the increasing current density of the strike. After we left there, we ended up back at Wesley's, and Bob Hawthorne took the liberty of telling us about the diamagnetism of these magic obsession stones I was talking about earlier. Oh, I love that dog, by the way. She managed to sneak into the house when no one was paying attention. But here, I'll let Bob explain this property.
She got in. I drove across Kansas and I did that.
Tails wagging.
I got in. I don't know, but my hand never got
one notices
tired.
it, but just be cool.
They start whining in your hand like glass wine. You can hear them. You start. And I did that the whole way across. They get real warm, like your hand warm. And you just go. 8 hours I did it, and my fingers never got sore. But this is announcing the Greeks knew that 2,000 years ago it gave off positive voltage. They called it electrical warp. Now I can't see the light spot there. Look, yeah, a guy had them on a table, and I don't know if it was these two or not, but he took one ball and he pushed the other ball across the table, and they never touched.
You can feel it more when you do them slowly.
So
like
you go like that. And
they push each other.
Yeah. Rocks don't do that.
Well, lodestones might, but
What? Lodestones might? Yeah, but that's
rare,
magnetism.
is what I mean.
that before.
Yeah, this is like diamag. Oh, I've already dealt with them when I was at the
convention.
convention.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
That's when they were jumping up and down, everything. The girls here. And I said, yeah, it's strange. Right? It's obsession stuff, honest to goodness. You start playing with. And those I carry with me everywhere I go. People used to say, do you have your balls with you? I said, I do.
I carry an extra set just in
Just to
case.
see, I got a little sock bag for them.
You never know when you might need an extra set of balls.
And you
That's
got a
what I
fuzzy
said.
little bag for them too.
Well, here, look. What do you think I'm carrying? They have the spot that they go, here, just grab those in your hands. That's right.
It's that fuzzy ball. Oh shit! What did I get myself into?
The next day, we went out to the San Rafael swell itself, and I drove my little car all the way to the middle of nowhere.
Now, in the meantime, Gene Shoemaker went to Australia to do another second Discovery Channel on asteroids. He did the first two. He won 2 hours. He's in the outback. Him and his wife got together. He went back east, and in June, he came back in June from February, and he went to Australia. The last picture of those two were taken was the one that I took of them at Upheaval Dome by Whale Rock, holding hands on that day. And I even sent that picture to him because Gene goes to Australia, gets killed in a car crash by a drunk driver in the outback on a blind curve. Now in Australia, you can see 84,000 miles. And he gets killed. Then they took his
He's out
ashes.
on the other side of the road over there.
They buried Gene Shoemaker on the moon.
That's cool.
Yeah. Shit, I don't know how I'm doing this. I ain't never did this.
Just whip it.
Whip it good.
Whip it up.
You show us how, we'll follow the
We'll
lead.
emulate this technique.
Is your hand gonna get hot too?
Probably.
Probably.
off,
on
guy.
What are you doing? What the hell are you doing?
Hey, dude. I don't see your ass running for it, though. That's right. You can just mock people.
We might need to give him a hand here. The wind seems to be taking advantage.
All right. I'll get up and help since I am eating. But this is admittedly hilarious. Things I did not think I was going to be doing when I got into America. Sleeping in the middle of nowhere. I don't mean nowhere. Nowhere.
With the sun having gone down and the winds picking up, we tried to make the best of that night and make sure we did not get eaten by anything. Robert and I ended up watching Captain America on my laptop, just to make sure the land knew that we were on its side. The next morning, it was hiking time. There were 2 areas that I was told I had to go see. One was a crack in the rock that seemed to be oozing something, and another place was called the Dragon Egg, a place apparently where current passed through the rock and seemed to leave a metamorphic impression.
Yeah, that's just one heck of a current path going through here. 2 of them, looks like.
Yeah.
Standing on, didn't even see it. So this is the gross stuff. The stuff we're not sure what it is. Not sure how I'm going to do this. I can't do that with a camera on, can I? So much current, all this rock turned to marble, practically. I made it up here.
Yes.
It just looks like the current got more powerful. We were walking across pieces of it. Ooh, yes. This is where we try not to get bitten by anything. Hi, Mom. Thanks for watching. Looks like a sound chamber or something. You can see the current going, like I said, the current went right up there, right through the ceiling. I have no idea what that is. It's as hard as a rock, eh?
It is hard as a rock.
Except for the pigeon shit on it.
Even that sappy stuff at the top, which is dripping. Brown, you can see a few brown drips.
Yeah.
You can zoom in on that. That's hard. It just looks glazed.
Really?
Yes.
See, this is a question because that obviously looks like bird crap on it.
Well, the white stuff, I'm sure is bird crap, or it could be something else.
Well, clearly there's bird crap. I can see it right on my feet.
Yeah. But if you look here, if you might be able to get a better demonstration of the glazing, there's another piece of it in there.
Oh, so it's part of the rock.
Yes. But it's just completely, got a different luster to it.
You know, if we go investigate this and do a research and find out it's just crap, I'm going to be so fit.
Oh, yeah, but it's peeling out of all the pores.
I know. What's causing that?
And you can even see here how it kind of fuses in from it, and it kind of bleeds in. So I don't think that's shit.
Well, there's a piece that fell off right there.
Right. That's just some of the sandstone.
Oh. I thought it was a half and half. Well, don't hurt yourself.
I'm gonna try and get some footing here.
The ground is brittle.
Yes. Here, just found a glazed piece. It's a little narrow one, but we'll save that. It's got the glazing on it.
All right, yeah.
But you can see almost how brittle it is.
Well, let's just hope it's not pigeon shit you just put in your pocket.
Right.
But still, I'd like to know how that happened. Because there can't be that many animals up there unless there's a way to the surface.
That would be a ton of fucking guano.
That's what I mean.
You know?
But look at the rest of it. Just the etchings all over it. Right in the corners. This side's just amazing. I don't even know how that was done.
But as you say, it got effed.
Yeah. Wow, look at that thing in the wall too. A current?
Yeah.
Like a snake?
Oh, that Lickenberg pattern, if you can see that. Red ones. See those? Right above, right by the
Yes.
sappy slip, the red ones, yeah.
I think I know what you're looking at. Yeah, I can see him. Well, that was good. Okay.
Radio. We can get our way down here now.
Let's not, if the camera doesn't come back on, we probably died trying.
So how is that formed? Was it just eroded that way, or?
Well, the erosion would happen, but the current, it's like that part at the bottom looks like it was attached to the top. And the current was going through the rock, which is why it was harder than the rest of the rock, took longer to erode. When the electrical excavation, or even time, I don't know how long this is, but just granted, it probably took not too long after the event, in my opinion, but you can see that that is clearly like a fulgurite.
Yeah.
Except you can see the layers and the circles of it, and there's hollow points. It rings like a crystal, if I'm not mistaken, they said. Like a bell. Yeah, see? Looks like that piece was attached up to that piece there. You can even see the curve of it. Yeah, not too hard. I can feel it vibrating right here. I don't want that hitting me. But yeah, it looked like it broke. It worn off, but it was still too heavy to lift. But look how pitted it is. That pitting probably happened after it was made, but it was likely formed in the thing that caused it. Well, that's what I mean. The parts that were completely removed by the ionic winds, and probably some of it that shattered it. Oh, yeah, let's go over there. For sedimentary rock. No, this is a Birkeland current,
Right?
but inside a rock.
You can almost see the vortex in here. How it just spirals up.
Oh wow, yeah.
Watch yourself, my foot was behind you.
Sorry. Now I'm going to have to edit that out, you know.
Yeah.
Look at the, oh wow, look over here too.
Yeah.
take a look at this, and then I'll take a few still photos. If I can.
And up in the, I told you yesterday, with that muddy substance or whatever, pits up here.
Some caves up there too.
Oh yeah.
After everyone returned from that hike, we rested, discussed some of the amazing sights that we saw, but eventually we packed up and moved to an even more secluded site where petroglyphs and chevrons abound. I managed to get my car up onto 3 wheels and travel it into places where only Jeeps normally go. We even ended up finding ourselves a watering hole, and complete with animal tracks of things that probably would want to eat us.
Oh, let me get my water this time.
Brown oozes coming out of this hole. They look like a big turd factory right there.
Official thing, turd factory. Look it up.
This might be cavitation.
Well, cell water's been coming out of it now.
Right now. Oh yeah, your little gravel thing wouldn't leave that, would it?
No.
Nope.
Water
The way you say there's a rock in there.
Yeah, it wouldn't do
You
that.
know,
It wouldn't do that.
I'm not saying electrical processes aren't at work, like lightning strikes and stuff.
Oh, there has to be.
Blasting
Look at the
holes and
filaments.
stuff.
That's beautiful.
But my point is, to me, this looks like
Pattern in this light, you guys got light
sanitary
in it.
process.
What about these?
Those batteries carving out.
You have to share all those because I didn't bring
Water
my
runs right through.
Aw.
Carves out each layer. It's got
I
a
brought my camera yesterday and didn't use it,
Yeah, it's got a
so I'm
resistance.
not hauling that bastard.
Right.
It's kind of honeycombed. If you look, it's got a layer. In
I will admit that water has run over this, clearly. But I don't think it is water that created this. This is the perfect pitting of what we're talking about.
Here you got some dikes up here.
It's just, and they're uniform.
Shall we take off?
You got little beads.
Then we can look at this on the way back.
It's definitely eroded.
Where are you guys heading?
Water.
We're just gonna head on out.
All right, we'll follow
This
you.
is right by the camp. We can
Yeah, you can-
explore this constantly.
Right. Wow. What an introduction
Yeah,
to the canyon.
we only got this far.
had to see this.
Right.
Yes, I admit, we had to see this.
Then we get real high.
Just a second, I'm going to go and give our viewers a view of the petroglyphs so you can see how they were related. See? Some of the people had carved on it, but you can see in the rocks here. And you're walking across some of them over here. I documented them on this way. See that perfect one over there? Down here by our feet. There's some wondrous ones up there. All the way down to here. This one up there, that little tiny one. The comet. A beautiful work there. Looks great on the angle. The sun's perfect, eh? This big circle there. There's some planetary connection ones going on. Where were they? here. Whole length. Connected to another planet? Maybe? There's another one, a sneaky one. Connected to another world. Maybe Mars and Venus? Maybe. Stacked Tauruses. The same patterns. There's some cometary patterns. And by the way, southern sky is like right over there, I think. We had a pretty good view out this canyon. And it leads up to that beautiful cave up there, which they probably could have climbed up, but I'm not going to. I swear, if there's things up in that cave and we don't look.
I'll risk it.
Hey boys, we need one hammer.
I'm a veteran. I got
Hammer?
We need one of them. And the power.
Unless one of you guys want to come with us, carry the hammer.
Yeah, you can carry the hammer.
Oh, wow. Check this. What a deal.
Holy crap, there's more right here.
Yeah, I think that's conglomerate still. This could have been the raw material before it went through that secondary devitrification and got molded charcoal. We think this is the raw material. Because it had the same, yeah, we just went through that secondary process of molded it and then shock coated in the Morrison.
So you think it might be your, what do you call your rock?
It's devitrified analcine.
Analcine.
Yeah,
Vitrified?
devitrified.
Devitrified analcine.
Yeah, it went molten and got shock cooled before it got into a glass structure.
It looks like it, huh? With the little hexagons on it.
Yeah, we think it's what it could have been before it got melted in to what it is, what we have. This is the raw material.
How do we spell that?
They're like anal, and then C-I-M-E.
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 Anal sign.
Yeah, anal sign, but analcine.
I can't wait to put that in the documentary.
Right?
Sounds terrible.
Yeah, we're on a quest for anal scenes. Radiation halos. What are radio halos? Wait. What are radio halos? Radiation halos. So you get a rock, and you'll see a little, like you said, a halo. You can identify them. And the thing that creationists use to determine, or to say that this is all made by God, is because, which I'm not supporting, by the way, but they have a right to say that it was made fairly instantly, because the halos themselves only lasted for 7 seconds or so. Then they decayed to whatever. They were just dust, flakes of that material get stuck in a rock. If they were layered over time, there would only be half a halo, because the other half would have layered years later. The halos around indicating that this happened relatively instantly. That was just boom, and then the radiation.
Would it be a
decayed.
halo or a bullseye? Concentric halos all the way in.
Well, of course.
Yeah, okay.
That's what it is. It's a concentric, but there would be spheres. That's what I mean by halos. And that's what, well, we see them kind of like with the same similar idea of concretions in rock, showing this had to happen kind of instantly. But they don't want to admit that. But you see how an electrical interpretation actually accepts the fact that that can happen. So.
Yeah.
August 19th.
I'm gonna say you got a. I've already got the declination set as about 6, but that's for Mississippi. I think it's 3 here. So right now, it's striking it.
Today, the 22nd or 23rd.
I believe
Oh,
it's 23rd.
you're asking me.
Well, that's the day everything's supposed to happen.
Right.
Barely.
Yeah.
Nibiru.
Striking 355.
Yes, I'm glad we base every decision off Nibiru.
Right. We decided to be out in Goblin Canyon.
360.
This what this place called?
Or yeah, whatever, the Three Fingers area. This is still Goblin Valley area.
355.
That makes us feel better.
that makes sense.
I wonder why they named it that now.
Right.
And 62 angle dip. And that's we were measuring close to 70 last time, 68, 70, and that was on a rock further in or something.
We call this 3 fingers, but it's not. What's your other name for it?
That's what we call it 3 fingers.
Yeah.
So you can call this back of the wash.
You have this wonderful, and you of course until
that shit.
Yeah, there's some crazy shit going on there. But look how wonderful this canyon looks like from behind. I need a better shot of. If I don't, no, I just tripped on that thing. No, it's just my fault. Didn't. Oh wait, I'm sitting here thinking I'm taking a picture, but I'm actually still taking a video. All right, let's turn off the video for a second. Hit this wall. This wall, I think, it was there before.
Right.
I think, because it just by looking at the stratification, right? But it came up and hit this wall, and built up from there. And this is where we get the shock waves and levers and shock waves and shatters, and it continued on. And then you can see where it tried to do it to molten things, and you can see the impact. It actually changed it to quartz and stuff. Right. The power was increasing as it was going back there. I mean, one time it shut off, it looked like, and then it continued on. But then it eventually ended off in the chevrons at the end. But that all happened in a matter of seconds, maybe minutes. Well, if we're being realistic,
Whoa, watch it.
Maybe it is welded in there. What about this one? Let me see. I'm gonna try.
This could have been part of the creek bed that was just hit by lightning, just recently even.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be modern.
Well, I mean, but there's some other parts around here that aren't.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that big thing.
There's where it zapped. It went in and melted all the shit laying on top of this rock.
But we don't know when that
Where's
happened.
the other end of it?
That's in there solid. Or it could just be cementation at the base of the rock when it was formed.
That looks ungodly. Look at that. Just get a scale of that. Like moving from left to right. Get a scale of the 3-dimensionalness of that fuck. And that layer.
An orgy of a fuck right there.
Well, the water clearly there's some evidence, but the mountain, there's a mountain up there.
Right.
Like, you think that's tall. Well, that's a mountain beyond that mountain. And I don't know what angle I'm looking up at, but it's severe, guys. Like, we are in, like, at the bottom of the Grand Canyon type shit. Well, like, I mean, that, yeah. I think I'm filming this.
Hey, guys.
Yes.
You just found an observation that's hard to deny.
Here's a boulder that's just laying here.
This boulder is just laying here. It's not part of this bigger boulder.
It's not part of the
And all this shit's fused to this across the boulder that's just laying here. Now, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
Then
Recent lightning.
Probably.
That's the best explanation, huh?
Well, you're gonna number one, this wouldn't be like that if it was sedimentary, would it? It would take a while for this to happen. No.
Right.
Fudge, so go ahead and get a shot of that.
Yeah, there was a massive lightning strike in the middle of this valley. It looks like it welded this shit together.
Right across here.
All these rocks were conductive, and it was just the current is welding them together.
Don't get your big pecker in this.
Yeah, get your peckers now in the way.
All that shit up there, huh?
So that's probably where it started from then.
Lightning came down this little valley.
Up above it's nice and bare all the way.
Yeah.
Right here.
This was the original rock, and then this
See
got...
if you can trace it. Look, how far
Do you
down
want
is
to do
it?
a straw?
Is that the end of it?
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Need a waypoint of this guy.
How do we get a sample of this crap?
Oh, there's some down there.
What do we call this? Lightning strike zone?
Yeah, it just looks like it's laying there.
Well, that's just debris. You can see that's just mud and debris there. That's welded.
But it looks the same.
But, oh, well, yeah, but it clearly not.
This is modern day lightning welding.
See, now this is just stuff that fell on top. This is welded. I'm standing on here is welded.
There's no denying the freshness of it.
Well, yeah, because I can crush this with my feet, and that's crushed with my feet, but this is welded. And it's right along the shoreline, so that makes sense. Things you don't find every day. Our first, we found our first trap.
We just found a man trap.
Yeah. Geologist, buddy. All right. You said solid looking over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my guess. I mean, it cuts underneath us and goes that way. It looks like a water channel or something. And this is all clay, so it can come in any time.
Jesus goddamn Christ.
Right. It's scary as fuck.
Holy God.
You would not get out of that because that's just loose clay. You just dig yourself in.
Trust me, there's 3 or 4 people that are probably down there, so. So people were asking what it looks like when the dust settles. This is literally a field of friggin' debris that was blasted off the side of this stuff, and there's so much more. It's turned to dust, and there's caves underneath this that we don't want to explore. This is us on one of those
Triangular buttresses.
We're all here, as you can see. There's not a lot of wind, but it's clearly hand-packed across this. This is like the end result. That stuff over there was clearly etched pretty well, but this stuff just showed up at the last, hit it pretty good. But I think the waveform that made this, I mean, look at it. Look how it's all even rippled down there.
Yeah.
Wow. I think the triangular buttress waveform is actually the thing that did the damage. May not have created this. No, I mean, the event that created this is not the same one that made the mountain event. Yeah. Just the one that carved the canyons around here. But look how much there is to carve. I mean, I'm sitting on the face of something that just looks, the escarpments, I mean, it just comes right down here in these lines. I mean, you could tell that whatever hit this is where the land used to be back there, you see? Mm-hmm. But see how out there it's flat. So that's different. This stuff is angled. All the stuff, it's all basically buttressed. It's buried under there, see? And over there. But see over there, it's flat again? So it only extends to right here. This is the beginning of this, whatever this was. But we are sitting on it, and this is what it looks like. It is hammered badly, like something tried to electrically rip this to pieces and succeeded for the most part. I mean, it scoured that wall back there all the way to the top. So, see up there, that's the part I'm not going up to. I don't care how much you pay us.
Right.
Well, although we might be able to make it up, look at this rock here. See, if we actually fell, it's just not very stable. It looks really stable from the outside. Yeah, you'll know that we decide. Yeah, if we don't make it out of here, claim the phone. Yeah. The pit. Oh my God. Yeah, I'll get my laptop out for that.
Oh, okay.
Well, you want to see it?
See the real deal.
We were afraid to even get closer just to look in. We were like,
yeah,
oh,
we gotta be good.
No, he was like showing me like underneath it was all bad, you know.
The even part that you're on,
I like kind of crawled up, and then I realized that it was like undercut right under where I was sitting right over it. I was like,
so we were down near those mountains, the ones there behind me, and it took a while to get there. We had to leave it here. Why did we have to leave it here, you ask? Well, I made it down that. But I could not make it down this. This is all sand. I just couldn't take my car over this. Look at those rocks, eh? This is a creek bed. And I couldn't make it over that. Look at that. We climbed one of those chevrons down there. And it was huge. A lot bigger than you think. We went there. We found petrified trees. Yeah, it was awesome. And it was down near the bottom of, like, whenever this started. before that mountain range was built, there was a tree there, sitting there quite happily on the ground. Then it was destroyed, knocked over and petrified, and then buried under all of the mountain. It's getting worn down by a riverbed, a torrent of debris and stuff that falls. It was pretty messy. There's some parts in there that I question whether or not we should be there, because a rock slide would have just murdered us all. And there would just be one of us walking out of here. And he wouldn't have been happy. But yeah, it was like, back in there, a wall of debris. Just, looks like it's vertical. It's so just tall, and the potential rocks falling down on top of your head. Oh. Anyway, so that's my adventure. Well, at least so far. I think next stop is Santa Fe, and then maybe California again, if I'm lucky. This is also all parting ways.
So which way out of here? That way?
That way. That is the way out.
We left Goblin Valley confident he found some fantastic evidence of arc blast effects and electrical deposition on a massive scale. We said our goodbyes, and I ended up leaving Utah headed towards New Mexico. I wasn't quite done yet. I needed to get to two places: Tent Rocks and Ghost Range.
So here are these hoodoos at Tent Rock Monument, and you can tell they're hard. They're hard as a rock. They're conglomerates. They're in these weird tower shapes, you can see. That's like a mountain behind me. Interesting. This one didn't form to a point, it formed to a ridge. See? Look at that thing. Has a shell, has directionality. There's a snapped layer right in there. Look at that. More of directionality. Look at this puppy. Right up. But see this ledge there, see? Would you look at that? You can see where the rocks on top protected below from etching. Lightning always wants to go to the highest spot, melt it down, and carve into it. But a rock, one that will be able to conduct lightning, will protect that entire column. And that's what we see. It looks like ionic winding going through the area. Probably not supersonic, but it was taking out this entire mountain. The whole thing. Look at that puppy. See what I'm saying? It's like that rock over there, the one we were just at, but it's on top of this stuff here, same as over there. Yeah, take a look at that. It's a cave in the rock there. I didn't even wondered. They said it was human made because I can see soot up there. It was certainly used by humans, that's for sure. I wonder why they say human made. Canyon, look at this. Right in there. Wish I could go out more to show you. Be like that. It's a big hoodoo up there. Doing the same thing, that hard stuff protecting this stuff down here. This could have been layered by a volcano. Who knows how long ago? No idea, really. But that's okay. Doesn't matter. It's the rock on top that was more conductive, and those boulders up there that protected this from being electrically eroded. think you can see it up there, right there behind me. It's like a lava, like a piece of molten rock maybe, or who knows what it is. It's obviously protecting that little piece jutting out there. Everything around it getting eroded to pieces. That little piece protecting it. I bet you the rocks underneath are very thankful, buddy. Good work. Oh, wow, look at that. Just unstable this soil, huh? Have to go take a peek at these. Wow. Just jutting out. We're seeing things like we saw in the other place when we found the conglomerates in Goblin Valley in Utah. You can see how it even feels smoother. Bet you we get up there higher, she's rough. Oh, that's foreboding. Oh, God. Oh, another one of these through your head things. There's a nice layer. Sandstone. Wonder how that deposits. See how much it wants to get ripped out? It's highly resistant to currents going through it, so it just goes right underneath the edge. Rips it all out. I wonder if that was broken by a shockwave. See, the line's right up there. Maybe going around one of these corners up here created a supersonic shockwave. That's what started breaking this stuff. It's still welded. It's still together. Perhaps it formed at the same time. Crack and shockwave. Right out there. Same line that it's on. They're all on the same line. That's a fracture that continued all the way in there, I think. Test our hypothesis. What we're going to do is we're going to throw large stones at this wall behind me and see if it falls. I'm just kidding. There's no friggin' way I'm doing that. Look at, could you, they'd never find me. It's a pretty tough conglomerate. It breaks off into loose sand and, well, these rocks, they become alluvial. Is that the term? I'm not sure. I'm not a geologist. Ooh, I love those hoodoos. I guess that's what they are. See how there's a big rock protecting them up there? See? They can't. The water's never gotten up there, at least not in any amount. You can see it even on the side there. It's very interesting. So, going to this wonderful place, this beauty behind me, what have we learned? We learned that they're made of conglomerate, well, stone or volcanic ash, and they have been whipped by some very powerful electric winds, at least at one point likely supersonic. And it etched everything but would not etch those little peaks, ones we see up on the mountains behind us. They're not able to get through that. That's a big hint. The rocks are like lightning rods, and they can conduct, and this prevents them from getting etched, the land below it anyway. Water doesn't do that. Water undercuts and then makes things fall. You see evidence of that when we were inside of the, what's it called there? Inside the Slot Canyon. That's a wall, see, behind me? It's like a little ledge, I don't know if they cut into it or what happened there, but it looks like almost like a dike. You know what I mean. Andy would love it here, I'm sure.
After Tent Rocks, I made my way to Santa Fe, and I met up with Andrew Fitz and Gene Hafner. We were driving to Ghost Ranch, an area with box canyons and shimmering cliffs of stone. They were almost smooth, like you could slide down them. As well, you could see classic V-shaped trenching and other signs of electrical excavation.
I'm gonna have to take you out here, Dad. Go horseback riding. I was filming that just in case you fell. Look at the view of that, eh? Right down the valley. I can't even see the car from here.
So we're getting geology and views.
And views. This is totally crazy. Look at the mountain of rock behind us here.
Well, it's torn up on this corner here. It's big greenery.
Oh yeah. Clearly. It's rounded up there, but it's not here. This has clearly been just knocked down, and it's been this way for, well, there's trees growing up around it, so God knows. Looks like it's just layered by machine. As if it was attracted to the earth in layers. Everywhere. Crazy. My God. Canada. People been carving since 55 or before. 71. China. Just like lustrous almost. Look at this.
Once again, I said goodbye from there to Gene and to Andrew after spending 3 days with them. And it was off to cross the mountains of California again to go see Cameron. Then back across to Utah, where I got to meet up with Robert Hawthorne once again, and we got to explore a dike field. I was making my way back to the east coast to Canada. Apparently, 25,000 kilometer drives are what I'm all about.
I just want you to see this. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, yeah, I'm here. Look at this. Just crazy. This is a whole whack of currents. You can see them leading in there. And they go right through here. And all the way back there. But you can see that there's little electric vortices in there. So it's a bit of, I just love when you get a both situation, because this stuff came down, attracted all this current to it, which while stuff was pouring in, because you can see this is still building up, but some currents are flowing through, go down through here, and then while that's, you know, caused the Zorch to happen there, then the shock wave of that, this doing that, hit there, blasting material while also wherever it carried it off to, because there's clearly some etching. You can see those beautiful etches up there, like almost like Monument Valley itself. So this was laid down and etched all within minutes of each other, seconds even. How long would it take for right here in this valley, especially that big long one over there, to be supersonic wind, so a supersonic shock wave to travel from there to that? Probably what? 3 seconds? Less than that?
It was supersonic. Yeah. Second, maybe half of it. 2 seconds tops.
So the deposit happened, so it was building up and all this stuff was happening, and then that drew the electricity to it, so Zorch, and then boom, boom. Maybe it was all over in one, like, very devastatingly short period of time. See, that's what I'm starting to see. I'm starting to see little evidence of it being just stupendously fast. Like, surprise, your world's over. Like, not even a rumble beforehand, you know?
Right.
You know, and people that must have seen some of this stuff, like, we've seen the low versions of that where, you know, like, and you see, like, the mountains melting like wax, but you know, and they talk about, but people lived through that.
Right.
It's what they didn't live through, because nothing would have lived through this. Anything here would have been completely and totally dead, which blows my mind.